Okay, with Jesus Narvaez, Dark Tenet is the short film played at the Thriller Suspense Film Festival. You're based in Nebraska, right?
Yes.
We don't get many films from Nebraska, so it's good to see. How is the film scene is there a film scene in Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska?
Yes, there is. There's the film streams and Omaha Film Festival.
Yeah, so you have a good
Uh,
crew and like you were able to get a good crew for this film.
um, I was lucky enough to get a crew. So
Everybody based in Nebraska?
Omaha, Nebraska. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you co-directed, co-wrote it with Jonathan, right? So have you guys collaborated on many projects together?
It was my first project with Jonathan Lance. So
How was that?
uh, it, it was somewhat of a interesting experience. Even though uh, we were first time filmmakers and we didn't had a whole lot of knowledge, but somewhat a little bit knowledge. So like I did. So
So where did the idea come from for this film?
I would say it was originally it was from the Blair Witch projects. And um, because it was many years ago when I first saw the Blair Witch projects.
At
And
1999, right? That goes way back.
yeah. And of course, I don't want to get into it too much because people haven't seen the film, but uh,
Let's just say it was a people don't know. It was a huge phenomenon. It was this film done on a very limited budget. They kind of pretended like the wave of the reality kind of wave was setting up, and then people didn't know if this was real or was a fake, kind of found footage, and it became this kind of new kind of genre, I guess they created, right?
yeah, um, because I was kind of like figuring out like what's going on here, like who's telling the story, who, you know, um, that was kind of like it was kind of like those horror movies that make you think.
Yeah, 100%. So that's that you're I'm assuming you remember going to the theater and watching it?
Yeah, with my brother and his ex-wife at the time. So uh, just seeing it and just even though some people were like a little bit scared, but I was like trying to figure out like what's going on. Like
Yeah.
there's got to be an explanation to this story, something like that. So
Because it was kind of a setup improvisation where they kind of like the filmmakers had sort of an idea, but then they brought the actors out in the woods and then they gave them like uh clues and stuff like that. So there was no like set script. They just kind of reacted to what was happening to them.
yeah, to me it was just kind of like you're shooting a documentary while being lost in the woods. So
Yeah. But it was all fake, right? It was
yeah,
all like
right.
scripted, right? So
Yeah,
but that was all real. So then Dark Tenant, so you guys had this like it was this first of all, this was done at school. This is a school project.
yeah, it was a school project. It was it was my final project at the time, and I was trying to look for other projects to do just to not just submit my short horror film, but a lot of projects fell through, and it's like, oh, no, might as well have to submit this one and see what people think of it. And so
Why you wanted to make another film or something or
well, it was just my instructor wanted me to find another project to see in Omaha, Nebraska. There were filmmakers that I met in the Omaha Film Festival, and people always trying to come up with ideas or have for short films, feature films.
Yeah. All right, so tell me about the process. Where did you find the all the actors? Were they all from there? Did you kind of cast people? Like, how was the process?
The process we posted on on some pages from Facebook to Craigslist to find anybody who was willing to uh, take part in this project if they have the experience and knowledge and um, because I've I've learned from my first experience learning filmmaking with the help of an ex best friend that I used to have because he was unreliable at times. So it's like I have to look for professionals who know their skill and their craft and who can deliver their performance. So
Yeah. So this is something, it seems like some filmmaking has always been on your mind.
yeah, um, yeah, it has because um, it was like in my early 20s. Well, no, it was like in my late 20s. I was like, I want to make a film, but I just don't have the discipline, and I don't have nearly enough knowledge to make a film, and so I had to go back to school, to Metro Community College, you know, to pursue a TV audio communications degree. So
Gotcha. And then that's what you did.
yeah,
And so how, have you made a film since this film?
no, it's just, I mean, the film scene was starting to pick up by the time, uh, like around 2008,
Yeah.
where the film scene at the time in Omaha, Nebraska, you know, it was not happening too much. Of course, we have Alexander Payne, and uh, so like trying to, I just wanted to like tell a story because just to what interests people, what interests me,
Yeah.
what's engaging. You know,
And so you what, but is horror your kind of genre? You like horror?
I loved horror,
Yeah. So basically
because
the premise of this film is that there's a girl, um, kind of like in using the kind of tropes of horror, like she's in the woods, she's in her she's in her bra and panties, right?
yes,
And then she runs into the house, and then of course that she's she's like leading, like I guess people are following her, and that she's putting the people in danger by running into this house, I guess, right?
yeah, a little bit. It's just
Yeah,
yeah,
that's sort of the concept, right?
yeah.
And so it
It's
had,
like
go ahead.
it's kind of like um, a knock on the door, like what's going on, who's out there, knocking on the door really hard, and maybe it's something totally new that we haven't seen before or has been done before. So
Yeah. So then with the girl who the actress who was the one in the bra and panties, she was okay playing that role.
yeah, even though we're being professional about it because you know she was willing to do it uh but at the same time being really respectful and very decent and now most horror films today are kind of becoming more PG-13 now where you can allow have a woman run around in a bra and panties and just so
Yeah. I guess back in our day, I'm gonna age. We don't have to age ourselves, but let's assume that we're from the same era. Back in our day, there was a lot of nudity in horror films. I guess, right? I don't You don't really see that anymore. It's a different time. It's like there's a lot of sexism happening in horror films, and dare I say, it's not happening as much as it is now.
Right.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
Is that a fair statement to say?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen horror films like Friday the 13th where it's, sex, nudity, and unless imagination or no creativity uh, or just either, you know, it's just maybe it's just people's taste to say, let's put the women back in their place or whatever. And no, it's like, this is the 21st century now. And you know,
So where's the location? Where did you shoot it?
we shot it in Fremont, Nebraska. We found it at a cabin where uh, uh, the filmmaker Jonathan Lance knew a woman who owned a cabin out there,
Okay.
uh, and we were scouting for a location at the time, trying to find a location to shoot the film. And but basically, some of the locations were just really terrible, and and just looked kind of Friday the 13th ish a little bit.
Yeah.
And so it's like, no, I just wanted like a normal cabin, like people can relax to. It's not a Camp Crystal Lake, whatever place. And so we did find a decent cabin out in Fremont, Nebraska, and shot it there. So
And then you have accredited storyboard artist. You kind of storyboarded everything before you started filming?
yes, I did storyboard it first, prior before scripting it. Like I wanted to tell the story more visually opposed to writing it in a script because uh, I'm more like that way
Yeah.
uh, because that it kind of gives you an idea what's going to look like first, and it did help. You know it you know it had it had some scenes that I was looking for, and some scenes was like I don't want to use that because it's like a cliche, and so and so yeah.
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 And then you kind of worked with the design with the cinematographer.
Say again. I'm
You
sorry.
kind of worked you kind of like went through the storyboards with the cinematographer and kind of like set up your shot list.
Yes.
How was that process for you?
Um, it was challenging at times because depending on the technology that we were using at the time, which was a Panasonic JVX 200A, which were really big cameras,
Yeah.
and we, DSLR at the time were starting to become really popular, and so at the time we used those cameras because that I was able to gain access um, from the school to borrow it,
Yeah.
and so
So then like but other than that, you're able to get your shots off like during the day, I guess, right?
yeah, so we try to get some shots during the day, some shots at night, um, and and when I got to the editing room to start looking for shots that did work and didn't work, and so
Yeah. But like and then what about the editing process? Who did the editing?
I did the editing.
How was that for you? You like editing?
I like editing. Yeah, I, I was I was really happy to the part where I was starting to cut the film. And I've took a seminar um, in Omaha Film Festival many years ago. At the time, Mike Hill, the late Mike Hill, who did editing for Apollo 13, Cinderella Man. He was telling me, telling everybody in the class, say, find the best performance in each cut. And that's what I did. And that's what I
Yeah.
remembered when he told me. So that's what I did is when I got to the editing, started looking for the best performances. And
Gotcha. And so were you like happy with the project or
um, I admit there were challenges at times. Um, but at the end of the project was just a good relief to say we came out with a finished product. So
yeah, you got it done, right? And it's like
yeah,
it's won awards at festivals. I see there's a huge list of awards. It's so I know it's been done a few years ago, but you seem to be like it's you should be happy, I guess.
yeah. I've been submitted to a lot of horror film festivals, um, from LA to New York
Yeah.
and other places, and uh, it just um, I I'm just kind of surprised that after a lot of rejections, that finally someone was starting to take notice,
Yeah.
and then like, okay, let's submit another one. Okay, I was like, okay, we got another one, and
Yeah. Cool. And so but Omaha, it's an interesting place. It's you got Warren Buffett still lives there, right?
yes,
I guess he's the most famous person there.
yes.
Have you met him?
Not yet, but I have seen him and heard of him. I even majored in business at UNO at one time over there.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, but I haven't met the guy yet. So
I'm assuming he helps the city a lot. Like he puts money into the city.
I guess so. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But then Alexander Payne, like you mentioned him before, like he always he always shoots his films there, right? Like every film, like about Schmidt, Election's a great film, very underrated. Downsizing, Citizen Ruth is a good film. Up in the Air, like he always goes back to Omaha, right? The film is to shoot at least part of his film, I guess, right?
yes, he does. Yeah,
So
um, yeah. I've seen his films that he done here in Omaha. So
yeah. Do you remember when like about when Nicholson was in Omaha doing About Schmidt?
well, I saw a news reporting that Jack Nicholson was shooting uh, at a Kmart scene on L Street, which is not too far from where I live.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, it's like Jack Nicholson, the guy who played the Joker in Batman 1989. And um, yeah, so
Yeah, and he, like Election show really shows Omaha. Do you remember that? That movie was that's a good movie. And like he really shows that city. Like it's like it's good. Like he goes back, keeps going back to his roots, I guess, right?
yeah.
So then then do you think he helps the film scene a lot, like just by doing that or
Yeah, he does. Uh, uh, yeah, tries to encourage other filmmakers in Omaha, Nebraska to
yeah,
make films. And
that's good. So when are you gonna make your next film?
uh, time will tell.
Time will tell. Do you think you're gonna do it?
Well, I have a few ideas in mind, but right now I'm working on a comic book project that I put on hold for too long, and I'm
Yeah.
into reality now. So,
Well, good for you. How's it going so far?
well, I just completed the first issue, so storyboard and script. I'm gonna pass it to my editor and see what he says and what needs to be improved and so on and so
Yeah.
forth.
It seems like you like drawing, right? Like you like kind of creating that way.
Yeah, like I said, I'm more of a visual kind of director. Kind of see in my head, like, okay, like I'm seeing this place. I
Yeah.
see the time frame, or see the setting and the background, or yeah. So
Yeah. Well, I would like to see it, and well, I wish you best of luck with your creative projects. And why don't we talk next when you are going to make another film? So when you make your next film,
okay,
all right? Thanks,
all
man.
right.
Have a good one.
Thank you.